Hey guys, it's Lily. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Today I have a video that I have been wanting to film for so long. Literally since I was like 16, I wanted to film this video and I haven't done it yet because when I was younger, I didn't find a godly man. So I didn't want to make this video while I didn't have a godly man and be like, what to look for in a godly man when I don't really have a testimony of having a godly man, but now I do. So it's easier to talk about and to give you advice on and to what to look for and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I am in a different setting. My settings have just been different all the time because I'm trying to find new places to film at my grandma's house. Hopefully this lighting looks good. I'm in the solarium, so there's a lot of the windows in front of me, but the sun isn't really out right now. So anyway, yeah, let's just get into the video. So I have 10 different things to look for in a godly man. Sorry if you hear noise. This seat is like a wicker seat, so it makes sound when I move. And I just want to clarify that some of these things I didn't know to look for until I found a godly man. So some of these things weren't really on my list until after I found a man. So sometimes things, at least what I've found in my relationship, is you learn new things about your boyfriend or your fiance or your husband that you didn't know you wanted in a person, but God reveals it to you through that person. And just there's just thing after thing after thing that you find in a person that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I wanted that in a person, but I'm glad God gave me this person. You realize oh my gosh, I never would have asked for this. The number one thing, and I'm sure if you were to ask anyone for advice about looking for a godly man or what you should have in your description of a godly man, it is of course for him to love Jesus. So I've said this in past videos and explained this a little bit further, but I think the big thing here is not that, he says he loves Jesus, but by his actions, he shows you he loves Jesus. Sometimes it's not super evident. You have to really get to know the person and spend time with the person to realize he has attributes of Jesus and what he's done in his life to make his life look more like Jesus. And so it's not just that he loves Jesus, but that he's pursuing Jesus and that he wants a relationship with Jesus. I think that's a big thing too, is that he wants that, and he wants to further you along in the process. A godly man will pursue you, but he will also always lead you to Jesus and never away. And that is something that has always been something in my relationships that I've wanted, but I've never had, was someone saying that they love Jesus, but they would pull me away from Jesus instead of to Jesus. And what that looks like, it could be different for everyone, but for me in my relationship is when I get stressed or when I get worried or when I start thinking not in a godly perspective or in a godly way, that Jack will lead me back to the truth, will lead me back to the light, will lead me back to what Jesus would say about that. And that is really important, that you have someone who will lead you to his word, to the truth, and not away from it. So that is my first one. My second one is his love for people. Now this is something that has always been really a soft spot for me. And obviously we all, even if you do it out loud or in your hearts, we all judge people. It's just human nature. We judge people on how they look, we judge people on how they act, we judge people on their outside appearance or on their personality. I mean, I do it without even knowing sometimes. But I think for me, something that is really attractive in a person is someone who loves all people and has very little judgment, or who is aware of their judgment. So even if they do judge someone, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to say that. Or someone who takes criticism and doesn't take it negatively, but takes it positively. Number 3 is that he has men in his life, godly men in his life. This is something that is really important that I didn't really find to be that important until like I started dating Jack. This isn't really something that people talk about, I guess, because most of the time it's just like that they have good community, that they're around good people, that like they're in church and all that stuff. But for a man, it is super important to have men in their life to guide them and to direct them and to help them, and they seek counsel from them and they seek wisdom from them. That's something that I saw in Jack that I didn't really realize that I liked until like I was talking to my grandma about it, and I was like, wow, that is something that is super important, because like he has a great dad. He has great men in his family, and he has great leaders in the church that help him and guide him. And this is besides friends. This is besides guy friends, because guy friends aren't mentors, they're friends. And number 4 is how he treats his family, or like his women in his life. I think this is super important. Now, not everyone's perfect. Family have issues, but I think to just see the picture in a whole as like how he treats his family and his mom and his sister and whatever as a whole, and just women in general, is really, really, really important. So just be on the lookout for that. How he talks to his mom. Okay, I forgot what I was saying. How he treats his, like the women in his life and stuff like that is just super important. Yeah, I think I pretty much touched on that. So yeah. Number 5 is that he has a calling on his life, and that he knows kind of the direction of his life, and that where he's wanting to go, and like the dreams that he has and what God has revealed to him about his future. You know, dating is not just something that you do for fun. It's something that you do for the intentions of getting married. And so I think it's really important that someone who you're looking to date knows the direction they're going in their life, and knows what they want, or their dreams, or their passions. So nothing has to be figured out. You don't have to have your life figured out or his life figured out, but just to have the direction and the vision, I guess. And then number 6 is really important, something that I didn't really think about, but is how to handle conflict, how he handles conflict. Now, obviously, this is going to be something that you don't know or see until like you get to know the person, or you're around the person for a while. So this is something that you figure out throughout time. But this is really an important thing to know about someone, and is how they're going to handle conflict, and if they have things in their life that they haven't resolved, like anger or problems like that, where like they get really upset quickly and easily. And it's one thing if like they're trying to fix it and if they acknowledge it, but it's another thing if they just really get angry in the way they treat you or the way they treat others when they get upset. Within that is also, are they good at confrontation? Confrontation is a really big deal that I hated. I hated confrontation, but Jack has really guided me through confrontation and has helped me a lot with it. Confrontation is really important, and it can be something that can make or break a relationship. So that is really something to look at and to look for, is how someone handles conflict. No matter what relationship you're in, you're gonna have an argument or conflicts, or you're not gonna see eye to eye in some things, no matter what. So that is something you really need to look at and look for. Number 7 is his reputation. Now this is something that like reputation, what does a reputation really matter? It might not even be true, but usually a reputation is what others think about you and what, a majority of people know about someone. And I think a reputation is really important. Hearing from other people and talking to other people about this person and what people tell you about this person. And if there's multiple people that tell you something about a person, it's probably true, even if they don't say it's true. And that's something too. Truth, they need to have truth and be truthful, because there's no relationship if there's no truth and trust. And then the next thing that kind of goes along with it is the truth and honesty. This should be number 2, because truth and honesty, there's no relationship without truth and honesty and trust. If there is one thing that they've done that you can't trust them, it's going to be really hard to trust them, because you start out with 100% trust, and then once you do something or they do something that leads you to not trust them, that you have to build that 100% back up, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of patience. And if there is red flag after red flag or event after event that shows you that you shouldn't trust them, or in their past relationships and their past life experiences, if there's things that make you feel like, I don't know if I can trust them, that is a red flag, and you should not be dating that person. Trust will be the key to a relationship. If there is lack of trust, even a little bit, you should not be with that person. Jack has never done anything for me to lack his trust or to not trust him. That is just a really big thing. And I had really bad trust issues. You can say, well, I have really bad trust issues, so like, how am I gonna be able to find that in a person if like I have to build that up? Well, that's where the dating comes in. If you keep dating and find that there's lacking trust, then that relationship should be over instantly. And then I'm going to go back up to my other point, which is his dedication to the church. This is really something that is very important, that he serves at church, that he is a part of a church. It's important to him that he goes to church every Sunday, that if you were to say that you didn't want to go to church, he would bring you along to church, because that is going to help in the future when you're married and when you have kids. Just that support of like making sure that through every season that you're going to, you know, have that time to be with the Lord, that day to just rest and just seek God, should be something that he's doing before you even meet him, before you're even dating, that he should be dedicated to the church. Lastly is the way he worships. This is something that can be different for every person. Jack isn't a huge like song worshiper, but worship isn't just song, it's how you live out your life for God. With that being said, he shouldn't be afraid to make Jesus known in his life. He shouldn't be afraid to talk about Jesus with others. He shouldn't be afraid to spread the gospel. Now, obviously, everyone's personalities are different, and it's something that someone has to learn and someone has to do consistently, go out of their comfort zones. Someone who is constantly going out of their comfort zones and has a reputation of being a Christian and of loving Jesus. Also, the way he worships in church can really be a big like sign, because if he just stands there and doesn't do anything and, you know, just claps along, that can show the little growth in his faith, or how, you know, small faith he has. Also, along with like how he worships, also like his prayer life. If he prays not just for meals, but for things in your life that you're dealing with, that you're both dealing with, that he's dealing with, if he goes first and says, let's pray for this, that is huge. That is something I've always wanted, but something that I've never found until Jack. And I think that's something that's really important, and it's really important to practice that, especially for future. If you are married, there's a lot of stuff that comes in marriage that you need to pray about. And if he isn't willing to pray in the beginning of the relationship, then how is he going to be able to pray when things really get hard? And so I think prayer and worship is really important and should be something that is known throughout your relationship. Yes, that is my 10 things to look for in a godly man. Obviously, some of these you may not see until after you start building a relationship. You can't just see that from the first sight. Sorry, my energy kind of seems a little low. I'm trying not to be too loud because my grandma's working in the other room, and also my energy, it's like 5:30. I'm kind of like low energy right now, so sorry if my energy is not like, oh my gosh, woohoo, godly men. But yeah, so anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram. I post and I'm active on there every single day. It is Lily_Bear with 3 R's. And yeah, make sure to comment recommendations down below of other videos you would like to see from me. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Bye. Ew, that sounds so weird. Bye.